Going on, Jets Nation, and welcome back to the Flight 5. You are live here with the crew alongside Wesley to my left. Wes, how's it?
Yes, the pen is always mightier than the sword. I usually like to start off with a rap lyric, but after today's tragic events, I would like to say, we'll keep the peace after that. The pen is mightier than the sword.
Absolutely. And Frank, to his left.
What is up, Jets Nation? Hope you're having a great Friday like I am. Enjoying myself. And
we are joined today by Alan from the Jet Press. Alan, and of course Bill to his, I guess, left his as well. Alan, why don't you give everybody a little introduction of who you are, why you're here, and what you do.
Yeah, why are you here, by the way?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. I've been a big Jet fan since 1985. Loved Ken O'Brien, was my favorite player. He never got a fair deal, thanks to coming into the league around the same time as Danny Boy Marino. But I am the editor of the JetPress.com. Check us out, part of the fan-sided blog network. We put up multiple articles of content every day. Want to give a shout to our writers. I can't do it without them. First, good friend of this show, Sean Durham. Follow him on Twitter at Sean L. Durham. And then you have Drew Ferraro, known on Twitter as @JetSirius. Make sure you follow him. We have Bob Montgomery at The Only Emmett. We have Sydney at Sydney Kira 1. She's our newest staff member, and last but certainly not least, my kid sister Debbie Schechter, who worked with us as well, but she doesn't have a Twitter handle that she uses. So,
all right, Alan,
check us all out.
Quick question: who is the best writer and who is the worst writer?
No, you can't do that.
You had to keep one and only one, or you had to lose one. Who do you got?
I'm not going to sell any one of them out today.
We can't lose Sean Durham.
Come on,
right?
That's great coach speak right there.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
That's it. I'm learning from Rex. That's it.
Like Rex Ryan.
But on a serious note, and we love having Alan here. We love having we want to get some fans in studio, so definitely keep a lookout to the Twitter @5andLive account, because we'll be running some I don't want to call them contests, but either way, we're going to be having some fans and guest hosts come in and do the show with us, like Alan here today. So check out the Twitter for that. But before we do get into the show, guys, we want to, on a serious note, send out our condolences to those affected in the horrible events today in Newtown, Connecticut. We don't want to get too much into it because it's such a horrible and depressing story, and there's enough media coverage about everything that happened. But before we got into the show, we did want to send out our deepest condolences from the show here. It's just horrible what happened, and it really makes me sick, and I'm not alone with that. Absolutely.
From this, if anything, from this.
That's it.
So, but we do have a fun show to get into.
This stuff's been happening a lot lately, right?
Too much.
Way too exactly too much. But we want to kind of lighten the mood a little bit and get everybody feeling good, because Braylon Edwards is back with the Jets, as you saw on Twitter before. And throughout the week, he was signed by the Jets for the final 3 games of the season, and we'll see if going forward, maybe next year, a year of Braylon would be great. Obviously, you guys know, if you followed me on Twitter, I'm a huge Braylon fan. I've been calling for Braylon to come back for a long time, and I'm shocked that they did bring him back. But I love the move. Everybody loves the move here. I haven't seen many fans who haven't loved the move, but Braylon.
I don't think you've given any fans a chance, Nick, to not like the move.
Oh no,
you've
been
on the high horse.
And this is how it's gonna be. I was very.
Can you tell me what
stern.
your exact moment, what was happening when you first heard the news that Braylon Edwards was a New York Jet? What were you doing?
You know how it is on Twitter nowadays. Everything, and now you're just waiting for the official tweet to happen. You know what I mean? So you kind of knew that it was going down. You were just waiting for it to really happen. But I saw it, and I guess maybe this song was playing in the back of my mind.
If everything was a movie, this was playing in the background.
Yes. And I held my phone up in the air, and I was spinning in circles with this song.
Eyes closed.
Eyes closed.
It's like the first time he touched a meatball. You know?
It was the first time my mom ever introduced me to a meatball. I was probably like 2. Finally off of baby food, she probably cut it up and mushed it up so you could eat it. You know, you're at 2, you're not. But it was probably something along the lines of the first time I've ever tried a meatball. But I don't know. I don't think I'm alone in my joy that Braylon Edwards is back on the Jets.
Christmas comes early.
Absolutely. Christmas really did come early. But before we get into the Braylon talk, we do have a Jet wide receiver that will be calling into the show around 7:20 tonight. Santonio Holmes will join us. We're excited to hear from him. You know, with the injury, we haven't heard much from him at all. But, you know, it's good to hear. It'll be good to hear about him, his event, his rehab, and what he thinks about Braylon Edwards. So we will definitely ask him about Braylon as well. He'll be joining us around 7:20. And the number to call in, we will take your calls throughout the show. As always, 914-595-4871. It's right up there on zenlive.tv, flight5live.com. So interact with us. That's what it's all about. But back to the topic at hand here, guys. On a scale of 1 to 100, the Madden scale, which we do here, I want all your answers quickly, and I'm going to start with Wes. 1 to 100, how great was the Braylon Edwards move, or how bad was the Braylon Edwards move in your opinion?
Listen, I'm a little on the fence for it. I think it's great for morale. I'll give it a 55 on a Madden scale, 1 to 100. You know, I'm not sure if it's going to translate on the field. I think it's good. He's a good locker room guy. He has great history with this team, with all the team personnel. You know, some of the players who are still on the team from those playoff runs from a few years ago. I'm just not sure what he can contribute. You know, he has 26 catches over the last 2 years. So with the hamstring tweak, we'll see what happens.
Frank?
What
was your? Sorry, Frank. Did you give your Madden score?
Yeah, 55.
Oh, 55. Okay, Frank.
This is a tough one for me. I like the move a lot. I like Braylon being in that locker room because he does have a lot of experience with Mark Sanchez, who needs a lot of help out there. So I do like the move. I'm not really sure what Braylon can bring, so my score, I'm talking about physically, my score on the Madden scale would be probably what he's going to be rated in Madden after the updates. I'm going to go with a 74. That's probably, watch, he'll be rated like between a 73 and a 76 when he gets, you know, when they update the rosters. I like the move. I think it'll give Sanchez the confidence he needs. We need to ring off, we need to win 3 in a row to make the playoffs, which was just official after since he beat Philly last night. We have to win out. So I do like the move a lot. I think physically, I don't know if he'll be there yet. I mean, we see he has he's hamstrung, as they say. So we'll see how that works out. But I do like the move. I think it'll give us some confidence. And the one thing about Braylon, from a football perspective, that cannot be overlooked is if you throw the guy the ball up in the air, he'll go and get it. And we have a lot of small receivers. So I like that aspect of it. But can he stay on the field? That's what I want to see.
Alan?
I'm going to give it a good move. I'm going to give it 85. Okay. I love the move. It's a no-brainer. No financial risk. The confidence from Mark Sanchez. Just
if he can stay how important that is.
We do. If he can stay on the field, great move. 85.
Bill?
I agree. I'm going to give it, instead of trying to figure out a number, I'm going to just give it 100. Love the move. The guy should have.
We've been working up.
The guy should have never left here. He's just the guy that he kind of made this offense tick, and from the last time I can remember it ever ticking, he was involved. So it's good to have him back.
You kind of outshined my score. I was going to give it a 97, and I thought I was the high one, but I'll give it 117.
You know why? Because you didn't introduce Bill. You introduced everyone on the show but Bill. Did you realize that?
He introduced me.
And
he did. Okay. Give him the 97. You got to give him the 100.
Yeah, I love the move. Obviously, I kind of broke it down. Why the rapport he had with Sanchez, what Frank said, basically what everybody said all in one. It was just, I don't think there's what's the negative in it? I don't think there is one. I think he should have never been let go. I know for a fact that Rex Ryan never wanted him to go. It was a higher up decision than it was a Rex Ryan decision. And if you thought I loved Braylon and I gushed about him, all you had to do was turn on Rex's press conference on Wednesday, or was it yesterday? Either Wednesday or it was Thursday. There was no media availability on Wednesday. It was Thursday, and he raved about Braylon. He said he was in the locker room hugging everybody, so happy to be back, this and that. He's ready to go. He thinks he's going to be able to play Monday night. He's definitely going to play. If he doesn't play, I'll be shocked. But
Nick, you know what? Do you know the only negative? And I agree with everything that everyone has said here. But I think the one thing you have to look into, and I think Wesley agrees with me on this for once, is when you bring in a guy and you're gonna spend practice time on him, you're gonna have your quarterback throwing him balls after practice. You're gonna call plays for him. You're going to formulate a plan around this guy. How do we know that Braylon is right for that situation? We could take that time because, again, there's only 24 hours in a day, and you can only allocate so much time to each player. If we're allocating the wrong time to that guy, then we're taking it away from potentially somebody else.
Who, Clyde Gates?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying there's there's other guys you might be able to bring in because Braylon's looked at as a savior. We spend, let's say 6 or 7.
See, I don't agree with that.
Here's what I'll say. One of a big argument here about the Braylon thing that I've heard is that everybody doesn't like it because we're not moving on. We're just going back. I think if you look at what we have, he has a chance to stick around here. So he's 29 years old. It's not in a sense of like it's this rental like we went out and got Plaxico Burress. The guy's 29 years old. If he comes here on this audition, let's call it, and he produces and he fits right back into where he was and he stays healthy, maybe it's asking a lot, but I don't see any reason why he cannot be resigned to a contract next year at less money that we would have done for him in 2011.
Agreed.
Absolutely. I don't think at the worst case scenario, it's a 3-game audition at the veteran minimum.
Exactly.
At the best case scenario, you get him on the cheap next year, low base, give him incentives to stay on the field, catches. Right. I think it's win-win.
Yeah, the only thing is I'm looking at it from a long-term perspective. If we end up going into the season next year and we're all in with Braylon and something happens, we would have wasted a lot of I don't know if it's wasted time, but you can only do so much as an offense, and we're looking at this guy as a savior. We need to, I think,
scale it back a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. We're trying to just patch things together all the time.
Last year they brought in Aaron Maben. He had this great spark. It was a little bit of an addition. They signed him to a more of a guaranteed contract, albeit a fairly low one, and he comes out and doesn't produce. And that's what I think. You got to keep in mind on the big picture. I think there's a lot of great things that Braylon brings to this team. It's just if he brings it to the team. His health is an issue, whether he's going to be able to catch up in time with the offense. You do have 3 games. It's almost like a too little, too late sort of thing to kind of fix putting Band-Aids and bullet wounds, that kind of thing there.
Let's take a call, and then we're going to get on to the next little focus question here about what it does for Mark Sanchez. But you're on the line with Flight 5. What's going on?
It's Santonio, man. What's going on?
Oh, Santonio calls a little.
Santonio.
Oh, what's up, Santonio? How are you?
I'm just listening to you guys, man. Go at it right now, man. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you? How's everything with you?
Man, I'm actually, finishing up my rehab as we speak right now with treatments, and I'm done for a day. But everything is all well right now.
Good to hear. And since we were on the topic of Braylon, your old teammate, who is again your teammate, what's your take on the return of Braylon and being around the team recently? How do you think he's going to come in and perform and get along with the guys that are currently there?
I actually got a chance, to see him today when I walked into the building when I arrived today to greet him. And, just show my excitement for him. And I think it's going to be a big help to Sanchez and keeping him in his comfort level and understanding that he has a playmaker, somebody that he's been around, he feels comfortable with. And, it's going to take a little learning to adjust to Coach Barano and our offense. And I think just the hard work that he put in and that he showed his gratitude to being a part of this team and showing that he wants to help, as much as he can. The team is definitely, excited to have him, and so am I.
Yeah, and you were with the team last week. You traveled to Jacksonville, right?
I actually didn't travel to Jacksonville
you didn't?
with the team.
Oh, but have you been around the team the past few weeks?
Yeah, I actually been in the building doing rehab and treatments, but nothing else as part of the team. I haven't been in meetings or anything, so okay. I just come here, get my work done twice a day, and stay out of these guys' way. But it's just really good for those guys to see my face, and I talk to Rex a few times every time I come in, see Coach Barano, and sit down with Sanchez and all the guys. The guys are excited to see me around the building, and I think it just gives our team a sense of understanding that everybody does care, about what goes on here in our building, and just showing up, I think it really makes a big difference.
Hey, Santonio, what's going on? I had a quick question for you. How does what goes into the rehab process? I mean, if you could just give us maybe a day in the life of, an athlete who's rehabbing an injury. I don't think many fans are familiar with that process.
I'm actually, just starting my rehab. I'm only in it. I've been in it for 2 weeks now. But a normal day consists of, coming in, getting in the tubs, doing contrast, hot and cold tubs for about 20 minutes. 1 minute each, hot tub, cold tub. Pool exercises on a treadmill for about 20 minutes in the pool. Get out. You have more exercises to do as far as what we do to strengthen my toes and get the the functionability back into my feet. Is we put tubes on the ground and I have to pick them up with my toe and drop them into the bucket. So it's working on the range of motion with my foot and just trying to get it back into it. And then I finish with treatments from the trainers.
Man, that sounds like a lot right there. I don't know if I could do any of that. But when do you think you're going to be ready?
Twice a day, and I last about 2.5 hours every day, every time. So I come in, so I get about 5 hours in a day when I come in and do 2 a day.
And that's good. When do you think you're going to be back? What's your timetable looking like?
Man, I have no clue.
Yeah.
If I can answer it, I'm just taking it day by day. Excited that I'm able to walk in a normal boot. And I don't have to use crutches, to get myself around. So the strength is coming back slowly, but it's going to be a day-to-day thing, and it's going to take a long time. But I just don't know how long it's going to take for me.
We're ready for the flight, boys, man. Our boy
No
Kachi's
question,
not
man.
there,
I'm excited about it, man. The first thing Bradley said, we can make one more phone call. When he saw me that he was talking about Jericho's country. So.
But
unfortunately, Jericho is injured this season, and pray that he gets well really soon. And it will be a great reunion for us to have our guy Mark Sanchez feeling real comfortable with myself and Jericho and Braylon if that would ever happen. But we're gonna deal with what we have now, and hope that Braylon comes in and make a big impact come Monday.
Absolutely, man. With you guys out there and that defense, forget about them Pats, man. We're going all the way. Let's go. It's about time.
Hey, Tone, we had a chance to catch up with you at your third annual bowling event last week, and just a great event going towards sickle cell anemia there. And earlier in the year, we were out in Long Island at Roslyn having an event that raised awareness and money with so many kids. In conjunction with the Long Island group as well. What's next for the Third and Long Foundation? We know you put so much time and effort towards sickle cell anemia. Of course, unfortunately, we know about your son and his struggle with it and how it runs kind of affects it in the league as well. So it's definitely an issue that we want to pay attention towards. But what's next for the Third and Long Foundation?
To be honest with you, what we do with the Third and Long Foundation, is we do a lot of donating. So we try to donate to every cause that has some type of effect on people who are not just victim of sickle cell, but we participate in any type of donation. As far as what went on in Haiti the past year, 2 years ago, with the earthquake, we raised about $5,000 on my website, and also donated another like 50,000 pounds worth of food and clothing and water shipped over to Africa. To Haiti. So there are a lot of things that we are actually involved in, and it's more so just donating. We do what we do for the cause, which is have the Strikes for Sickle Cell event, and I help out with the autism event up in like I did in Roslyn this past year. So we try to just get involved with as much as possible, man, because there's so many needs in this world, and there are so many people who have millions and billions of dollars who care about setting up trust and things for their kids and making sure their kids are straight for years to come, instead of taking care of the need that we have today, which is the poverty that suffers in our community all around the world.
And Tom, for those of you listening, of course, it's a great cause. If anyone does want to donate, how do they go about it? Is there a website, a number that fans and people who want to donate can call into or get in touch with, as far as making any donations or lending a hand?
Pretty much everything goes on the Third and Long Foundation website. So you can go to SantonioHolmes.tv. I think that's still the website. I haven't really been active with it, dealing with my injury this past few months. But definitely a follow up tweet for people. Will be sent out tonight to give the information on how to donate and what to do.
That's great.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I mean, Santonio, that's, I love to hear, and I know I'm not alone, guys are using their, star to help and further along a great cause like that. So it's just great to hear, players, you hear a lot of bad stories and depressing media coverage. So when you hear something in like a feel-good story like that, it's always great to hear. But Santonio, we want to put you on a quick lightning round here before we let you go. Quick 5 questions from the crew. I'll start it off. It's going to be a quick kind of answer here. Not dealing with too much about football, but Santonio Holmes a person. So I'll start it off. Who was your favorite athlete growing up?
Michael Jordan.
Oh, that's the man right
Nice.
there.
Bulls. Bulls, where's the Celtics
That's the best
at?
answer you can give.
Hey man, everybody knew about Michael Jordan. I think that was growing up in the '80s was the era of Michael in the early '90s. So that was my guy. I wanted to be just like Mike, man. I went to the basketball court, did all of his moves that he did on Sundays. I would just go to the court after the games and try to do everything that he did that day in the game.
You have that fadeaway down, Holmes?
The tongue
No
sticking
question, man. I was trying to be just like him. I would practice numerous amount of hours just by myself at the basketball court. That's how dedicated I was to just being somebody.
That's awesome.
Right, Tone, what's the single greatest moment in your playing career, in your opinion?
My single greatest moment definitely has to be catching the Super Bowl 43 winning touchdown to solidify a spot in history and to cap off, my career with having myself being the second youngest player in the NFL history to win a Super Bowl MVP, to be the first person from the Ohio State University to hold such a prestige honor as a Super Bowl MVP. So, it really speaks volume on how well, that carries a legacy for someone.
Okay, Tom. Well, speaking of Ohio State, worst sighting for you: Patriots winning the Super Bowl or Michigan winning the national title?
Man, you put me in a pickle jar just then, bro, with no arms and legs to get out.
Why are you being so negative, Bill?
You can answer that safely, Tone.
Yeah, you can, absolutely.
I really don't want to see any one of those guys, man, because it would break my heart to see Michigan win a national championship. And to see Tom just stand up there and host another trophy, I can't stomach it. So unless I'm playing with him, that'll be the only time that I can stomach that. But until then, I don't want to see Tom and the Patriots win the Super Bowl. I was actually at the Super Bowl when they lost against the Giants, and I was super geeked about Plexico catching that touchdown, being that we were friends prior to us joining the Jets together. So it was really big because I don't want to see any one of those guys win.
That's a double whammy because of Brady's a Michigan guy, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. I can't root for those guys. I'm sorry.
All right, so Holmes, who is the funniest guy in the Jets locker room?
The funniest guy in the Jets locker room.
In your opinion, who makes you laugh the most?
Probably has to be my favorite guy, and I call him Mr. BT, Brian Thomas. Has to be one of the funniest guys in the locker room on a consistent basis, though.
That's
every day.
BT.
Every
That's
day.
great.
He looks like he's got
Now,
that.
Tone, I don't want you to hurt me here. This is all in good jest. I want to know what food best complements Cristal.
Yeah, what food best complements Cristal?
Cristal, yeah. If I'm going out to a restaurant, I order some Cristal.
I
want some food to go
order
with
you a
it.
nice filet mignon. You can't go wrong with
How
that.
do you get it cooked though? You get it cooked rare, medium rare?
You don't.
Oh, you got to get it medium rare and a little pink in the middle.
There's
Sounds
nothing
good
wrong
right
with that.
now. It's dinner time, too.
I'm learning a little bit.
Well, Tone, we appreciate you hopping on. And we know you're busy with the rehab and everything you have going on, but we just wanted to wish you the best. And, the fans love to hear from you, so it's just good that they get a chance on a show like this to hear from a big member of the team. So we appreciate you coming on, and, you're always welcomed, and we appreciate you opening up, a hand to let us come to these events. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you guys, man, for having me on. And once again, man, go Jets.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thanks, Tone. Take care, bud.
Thanks a lot, Tone.
All right, we're gonna take a call right now following Santonio Holmes. So whoever this is should be honored that you get to follow a Super Bowl
He's got big
MVP
shoes
on
to
Flight
fill.
5 Live.
Is it Plaxico?
Is it
Wait, he dead though.
What's going on? You're on Flight 5. Hello.
I guess it was too good to be true.
Yeah, I think
They couldn't do it.
I think they got shook when I put the
All right,
pressure
guys.
on them.
Before we go to commercial
It's possible.
break, we have something we have to do.
Yes.
we did a promotion on our Facebook page where we were giving out a free bottle of Marion wine to people that liked our Facebook page. Yes, it was a bribery, and it was semi-successful. So I mean, I'll give myself
whatever works, man. Shameless plugs.
But yeah, we just want to run a promotion for our sponsor, Omni Wines. You can check them out at omniwines.com. They have fabulous wines. Now, you can't buy them online, but you can purchase them by going onto the website and seeing what stores they're available in. You could purchase the wines there. I know Marion's Nick's favorite.
It really is.
When Nick goes and snuggles with his snuggle bunny Addie over there, we all know you like to.
It is the best. It's
a family show.
It's such a great bottle of wine. Out to dinner, just hanging out, watching TV, watching a movie. It's great. It really is. So I know who's gonna be picking them out of the bag right now. Who's got it?
Well, I think we're gonna let Alan do the.
All right,
Alan,
cool.
do the honors.
Alan, do the honors here. No pressure on you. The first guest host of Flight 5 Live.
Where's the
bag?
bag?
Is right behind the other bag right there.
All right, and
So
we're picking 3 winners.
Yeah, we're gonna pick 3.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. This is for you. Bottle of wine. Enjoy it for the holidays. It's great. This wine's ranked, in the tops. I know Gary V gave it like a 91 out of 100, so it's pretty good. So winner number 1.
Winner number 1 is Chrissy. Is that Moniz?
Chrissy Moniz.
Chrissy Moniz, congratulations.
Wow, Chrissy Moniz. Okay.
You're our first
we
winner.
Any names, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Trying not to. Bill, do the honors for number 2.
Numero dos. Britney Spears. No, Britney Slovak.
Oh! Brittany Slovak, round of applause.
Brittany. 2 ladies
And
so
Wesley
far.
will be delivering you the wine,
Yeah.
ladies.
Well.
How sharp does Wesley look in his suit, though?
Come
Wait,
on,
we picking 3?
Yeah, we're picking 3.
Yeah,
All right. I guess I'll get the third one here.
Yeah, and third, but definitely not least, because you're going to be getting some good wine, is, drum roll please,
Christmas Vacation.
yeah. Who is it?
John Jets. Dun, dun,
John-
dun, dun, dun.
That's a great name to be a Jet fan, right?
Yeah, so Chrissy, Brittany, and John, congratulations. We will be in touch with you over
Yes.
Facebook. We will get the address. We will have them shipped out to you. Enjoy the wine. Enjoy your holidays. We will be back here. We'll finish up. We'll wrap up talking about Braylon, and then we'll get into the Jets' playoff chances. You're listening to Flight 5.
What?
Take us to break.
Did he just say that?
Playoffs.
You guys see these guns right here? They cost me a lot of money to get, but they're worth it. Just kidding. I shouldn't have actually said that today. But if you guys want to check out a very cool athletic apparel site, hard90.com. They have great stuff. I really enjoy their stuff. Nick and I have gotten a ton of stuff from Steve. He's a great guy.
Yes.
You can check out them on their website, hard90.com. We actually did a commercial for them, which people said was awesome. So I think it was cool. I'm surprised you want to see me working out, but
We're looking for a defense to play against too, by the way.
Yeah.
And for the video.
No, but seriously, Hard 90 is a great workout gear. Steve takes care of the crew. Made a Flight 5 workout crew. Was Flight 5 workout shirt. for the crew, and we all rocked it. We all actually wear it on our own time too. It's great. The material's great. It's kind of like the Under Armour feel to it, but even better.
Yeah.
Definitely check them out, like Frank said, at hard90.com. That's hard, spelled out 90, not the number. So check them out. I want to give them a little shout out, but we want to get back into the Braylon Edwards talk quickly before we move on to the playoff chances and take your calls at 914-595-4871. This is for Alan and Bill. I want you guys to battle this, all right? I want to know what this signing of Braylon Edwards does for Mark Sanchez's confidence in having a rapport in history with a receiver that he trusts. I know, Alan, you want to get into it quickly here.
I think it's huge. Playing quarterback is about having confidence in the guys on the outside. And if you listen, Bill's got the quote here he's going to read to us in a second. Within about 10 words, when Mark was asked to react to the re-signing of Braylon Edwards, he said, I've got confidence in him throwing the football to him.
Yeah, I'll give you the exact quote. He said, that's a funny sequence of events. He's a great player. We have good chemistry together. I'm confident throwing the ball to him. I don't think that will change. Get him in the building and get him working. It's awesome. He'll fit right in, I'm sure. So you can tell that he had a rapport with this guy, and it almost feels like he was yanked out from underneath him. And
absolutely. And you don't ever hear him say that about any of the guys that are there now. He says they're getting better, they're running better routes, but he glows about this guy almost as much as Rex does.
Yeah.
And it's important to have that kind of confidence because we've talked about before about how you got to give receivers a chance to make a play. Well, you have to have confidence in those guys to make a play. And Mark is confident that this guy will make a play for him. And it's going to, if he can be on the field, you'll at least start to see a different quarterback, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
and if I could just toss in something real quick. I mean, if you're looking before the Santonio Holmes injury, with it's essentially the same offensive unit or receiving core that Holmes was a part of before he got injured, that Braylon's a part of. If you look back at those games, Holmes was getting targeted nonstop. He had double-digit targets the whole game. He was the only guy that Sanchez was really zeroing in on for exactly those reasons that you were talking about, is that he didn't necessarily have that trust. So I think that's something that you could kind of see, which could almost be a negative thing, is that he just locks in on Edwards and that's it, and forgets about everyone else. That's just the other side of the argument. I think it's a great move overall. But
I mean, to speak on Mark Sanchez, to clear it up, it's kind of like, as a fan, it's a confidence versus hope thing.
Yeah.
I think Mark is going to get his confidence back, or at least have a little boost in his confidence with having a guy he's used to having. But if you want to ask me about whether I think this guy can turn it around, I have some very severe questions about Mark Sanchez as a quarterback.
Yeah, let's not pretend like Braylon's back and Sanchez is going to turn into this elite quarterback.
Of course not.
You'll see the same Mark Sanchez. We're just hoping that we can continue to run the ball, play defense, and play great defense, which we are playing right now. And maybe Sanchez can kind of work out some deep throws to have Braylon stretch the field if he's back and healthy and make some of those great catches he made in 2009 and 2010. And 2010, sorry.
That's what it is. He's got to be able to – he will be asked to throw once in a while.
Right.
And he's got to be able to feel comfortable with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not going to turn into Peyton Manning overnight. Of course not. But to have somebody out there that he's got a rapport with is going to help.
You know what else it does, too? It takes a lot of the pressure off of him. Coming into pretty much every game since, I would say, like week 4 or 5 –
whenever Tone went down, really.
Yeah, pretty much when Tone went down. I mean, and Sanchez had a couple bad games. All the eyes were on Sanchez. People are almost looking for him to mess up and play badly, and they just want to kill him. Now it's sort of like this curveball was thrown in. Everyone's more positive about the offense. I mean, people overnight went from hating the Jets' offense to loving it because of one player.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
That does wonders, and if we ever needed it this season, it's right now because we have to win out to make the playoffs. We have to.
Let's get into playoffs. Let's get into our playoff chances and what we'll have to do. I know we have a graphic that we could throw up on what exactly needs to happen in these final 3 games. This is all based on the fact that the Jets have to win out. They no longer can lose a game and sneak into the playoffs at 8-8. That's not happening with the Bengals win last night. But they have to win out. Frank, I know you want to go from here on what exactly needs to happen for the Jets to make the playoffs, because it is a little confusing.
All right, well, pretty much for the Jets to make the playoffs, we have to win out. We have to go 9-7. The 8-8 possibility, which was slim to none, is out the window after last night. Cincinnati beating the New York Eagles, as I call them, or the Philadelphia Jets, like we are. So that's pretty much what happened last night. So pretty much for us to make the playoffs, if Indy loses out, Indy loses out. They lose 3. We win 3. We're in. We're in. Unless something crazy happens, which we won't even get into because it'll never happen. Indy loses out. We win. We're in. The other possibility is the Colts would have to win 1 out of the next 3, and they're in. And then we would have to get above Pitt and Cincy. How we do that is this. Number 2, Pitt loses to Dallas on Sunday. Then Pitt loses to Cincy in week 16. That would give Pitt 2 losses, and Cincy loses to Baltimore. That would get them at 1-1 in their next 2. We would get in because Pitt would be at 1-2, Cincy 1-1. We're in. That same scenario comes if Pitt loses to Dallas, Pitt beats Cincy, so Cincy loses. Pitt loses, and then week 17, Pitt loses to Cleveland. They're at 1-2. Cincy would be 1-1. We're in. The final scenario, which is very unlikely, is if Pitt beats Dallas on Sunday. If Pitt beats Dallas, we're pretty much screwed because Cincy would have to beat Pitt week 16, and then Cincy would have to lose to Baltimore and Pitt lose to Cleveland week 17. That would, again, put Cincy at 1-1 in the next 2, and that would put Pitt, who lost to Cincy and lost to Cleveland but beat Dallas, at 1-2, and that would be a perfect scenario for the Jets, assuming Pitt beats Dallas. We need Dallas to beat Pitt if we want to make the playoffs. Sorry, but if Dallas beats Pitt on Sunday, we're
we look pretty good.
We're good. But if Pitt... I might have got that confused. But if Pitt beats Dallas, it's tough. It's a really tough
you
situation.
Look at it as Dallas has won 4 or 5 games. Definitely a winnable game for Dallas. I think they're
home, too.
They're at home. Yeah, that's
they're
right.
home.
And then even looking down on the 4th scenario, you look at Baltimore around week 16, week 17. They had the division wrapped up. They're likely not getting any higher than the 3rd seed. The best bet for them would probably be to rest a few guys and get ready for that wild card weekend matchup with whoever they're playing. So they don't have much to play for. So Cincinnati losing to Baltimore doesn't seem all that likely to me. So with Cincinnati's playoff lives on the line, Baltimore not having that much to go for.
What I think is very possible is this one. Scenario 3. If Pitt loses to Dallas, all that would have to happen, assuming we win out, which again is a big assumption, would be Pitt would have to beat Cincy in week 16, which I think they will. And I think Pitt has a shot to lose to Cleveland because Cleveland really has nothing to play for other than, just going out there and balling. I mean, they're 5-11 now.
They've been playing really well.
They're not 5-11, whatever they are.
It's a better record than what they've been.
They're playing well.
They're playing better than their record.
Their record will be at that point around 5-11, 6-10. I was trying to say, but I think they can throw the ball all over the field and sling it with winning. We actually have a caller on, but
that's all right.
And don't forget we have if we could talk head to head with the playoff scenarios is we beat Indianapolis, so we own a head to head tiebreaker over them. We don't with Pittsburgh. And now if we want to talk about Indianapolis for a little bit, is it possible for them to lose out? They got 2 games against the Texans. With a game at Kansas City in the middle.
Yeah.
So if Houston can keep every game meaningful the way it breaks down, that becomes kind of a likely scenario because Kansas City's never a place, it may be wishful thinking, but Arrowhead is never an easy place to play, especially for a team that was 2-14
and
last
a rookie
year
quarterback.
and is riding a quarterback.
And if Houston's playing, if Houston's playing for the home field advantage, all they have to do is lose 1 game, and the Patriots jump up above them with that head-to-head matchup. So they do have something to play for home field throughout.
And
the
that's another thing, Wes. I think a trend in the NFL, the Giants started in 2007, is a lot of teams are going to. You would think they look for ways to rest players, but I think a lot of teams, talking with the playoffs now, they want to expand
you can look back to Pittsburgh
teams
in 06.
Yeah, exactly. With the expanding the playoffs, teams really aren't starting to like this bye.
Yeah.
They don't like this week off.
Well,
so with the teams kind of not wanting this rest, I think they're going to play every game on their schedule 100%.
Teams want to get into the playoffs hot is pretty much what you're trying to say. Pretty much what you're saying. Teams love buys. Of course, you love a week off, but you don't want to sit your starters in week 17, then have a bye, and then they're not playing for 3 weeks. You want to have something rolling. So I never say, this team has nothing to play for. They're not going to try it. No, they're going to try because these kids, these backups are fighting for jobs. Every game is an audition. So I never say, this team has nothing to play for, so they're not going to play hard. I don't buy into that. It's very hard for the Jets to make the playoffs because look, they're 6-7. They haven't played well, and they're pretty much lucky to have even an outside chance right now to get into the playoffs.
Agreed.
But we have to take it 1 week at a time because all these scenarios will drive you crazy. Frank did a really good job breaking it down as good as possible.
There's going to be a test, everybody that's watching, by the way. There'll be a test after the show.
But you have to, look, the Jets have to go out on Monday and take care of business in Tennessee. That's all they can do. Hopefully the chips may fall or whatever they call it. I don't know. It's very tough to make the playoffs right now, but we have a shot, and these games are interesting, and they mean something, and we're playing well. We're running the ball well. We're playing defense well, and they're kind of back to Braylon's back. We're kind of back to the formula that we won with in 2009 and 2010.
And we always beat teams that are under 500 because we haven't beat a team that's over 500 since 2010. So
Patriots playoff game.
Yeah, so it's good that all these teams we're playing are under 500 because we'll get into the Rex conversation right after we talk to this caller, but we're going to discuss how is Rex doing this year? Is he doing a good job or not? We're going to get into that right after we get this. Well, right after we take this call. What is up, man? How you doing? You're on Flight 5 Live. What's up, brother?
The usual. It's just me, and I'm no one important.
That's not true.
Anyway,
understated, Hans.
I think
we know it's Hans. We know your area code now, man. You're the man.
Frank ordered pizza to your house.
I just wanted to lay down a quick comment and then a quick question. Based off of what Frank was talking about before you guys dabbled into the playoff situation, I think we can all agree that the Jets fan base is easily the most bipolar fan base out there. I'll be honest, I have some rash overreactions of my own, but we are easily one of the most bipolar fan bases out there.
Yes.
Because of how we react to things like the Braylon Edwards signing and everything that goes on with our team.
See, I like to think everybody else is just boring, Hans.
Yeah, it's what makes us great.
True.
It's what makes us great, Hans, and unique. Unique New York,
Yes.
Unique New York.
We're fun. It's everyone else that's screwed up.
Yeah, exactly.
What was your question for us, Hans?
Yeah.
Well, you guys know about Pete Carroll's press conference this past week. He said that he didn't think that Braylon Edwards was going to be ready. How much crap was he full of? Do you really think that this was about him getting Braylon back with his boy Sanchez? I'll let you go on that.
Yeah.
Hey, Braylon's your boy.
Okay, thank you for the question and the call, Hans, as always. But can Pete Carroll just stop talking about guys that either end up on the Jets or are on the Jets or whatever? Just worry about your team. I know you were asked a question and he was a former player for you, but I don't know. I don't think he thought that. I really don't believe it. I think Braylon was kind of buried on their depth chart. They had guys like Sidney Rice and Golden Tate, who, like Frank and I and all of us were talking about before the show, are kind of like the same receiver that they like to stretch the field and they like to go deep. No one's really running those middle routes. I just think Braylon, with the injury and signing so late in the offseason, really kind of got buried in the same thing in San Francisco. I don't think it really had to do with an injury. Maybe he was a little banged up and he used that kind of like the Jets are using Tebow to not play him and make his decision a little bit easier. But I don't really think he thought Braylon was out for the year. I definitely don't think that.
Do you know what happened to Braylon? And it happens to a lot of receivers that end up getting, like T.O., he gets put on one team, put on another throughout the end of his career. When you're not in a system that values the passing game, like in Indianapolis, like a New Orleans, like a New England, like New England, that values a passing game. Yeah, that allows a guy like Braylon to come in as the fourth guy in and actually have the chance to make plays. When you throw Braylon on a team like San Fran, they're only throwing to 2 or 3 receivers tops. They're not going to throw the 4th or 5th guy. If Braylon went and played with a team like New Orleans where they could actually utilize him, then you can really see the talent because he's getting balls thrown his way.
But
there are balls going
through the offense from the 49ers and the Jets.
I know.
Offense, you know what I mean?
That's a good point, though.
That's
But
a good,
he's
that's a
going
good
to be
point.
utilized. I know he's going to be used on the Jets.
That's what I'm saying.
You need to be the top target.
Right.
You need to be either the top target or the second target on teams like San Fran, Seattle, and New York.
And here too.
In other places, you can be the 5th guy in, and you have the chance to make plays.
Best point I've heard,
have a
Frank.
quarterback.
It gets to my point of the Jets having this weak roster. You know what I mean? You're absolutely right. You go to a place like Seattle, there's Golden Tate, there's Sidney Rice, there's guys getting the ball. You go to San Francisco, there's Michael Crabtree, there's Mario Manningham.
Vernon Davis, too.
Well, he wasn't there at the time. Exactly. You come to the Jets, Braylon Edwards is almost
Vernon
he's
Davis
the number
was
one
there at the
receiver.
time.
You're talking about Manningham.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, this is
okay.
before.
No, sorry.
You come to the Jets, and he's almost the number one receiver here by default.
Yeah.
So it's
He's
you're
Jerry
absolutely
Rice
right.
compared to the rest of them.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
He comes here, and in these running, this is where they differ. Wes is in an offense like the Jets. Yes, it's similar to San Francisco, but he's a one
They
number
don't
one
have
and number
Michael
two guy.
Crabtree or whatever.
But I'm not even talking about who they have, which you're right. They do have a lot of pieces now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, San Fran does have a lot of good receivers. I'm talking about the system, and it's not a shocker that teams like Seattle and San Fran are very successful this year, having guys that can stretch the field. They only need one or two guys on the outside to stretch the field, and they make plays. You look at San Fran this year. I mean, they got Randy Moss for that reason. You look at Seattle. That's what Golden Tate and Sidney Rice do best: is play action, stretch the field. You have Lynch back there and Frank Gore, who I think are the two most underrated running backs. I would say those two guys that I've seen this year. They're unbelievable, both of those guys.
Well, yeah,
Frank Gore really proved that he.
Those are like single back sets that they're mostly running out.
Then you look at us. We want to do that with Sean Green, who I don't think is talented enough to do that. But we don't have guys stretching the field. We have these little receivers coming out there, Jason Hills and Curleys, and I love these.
Stretches the field though.
He does, but you need those
small guys.
guys.
That's what you're saying. He's not a big target, but he's
it's like not a good
give him
fit.
A little bit of
no, he
credit
absolutely
there.
does. Curly, I think's awesome. I'm gonna get his jersey next.
Yeah, that's a good investment.
But let's face one thing about Curly.
Not like my Tebow jersey, right?
Nah,
Bad investment.
As good as he is, he's a rather small. He's a smaller guy, and these teams have been pressing our receivers so often, so frequently this season, and nobody can get any
They
separation.
can't get separation at all.
Braylon does a great
Yeah.
job at that. He's good against the press. He'll get physical with his hands.
He's big enough to do that.
Yeah, and if
and
you
he
look
doesn't even have to get the separation. He can still go up and catch a ball with a guy.
Exactly.
There's not many
Yeah.
better in
Something-
football than Braylon at going up to catch the football. There really
he was
isn't.
selected third overall. I mean, if you look in 2 seasons, he had 4. In a short 12 games with us, he had 4 touchdowns with us. In 2010, where he played all 16 games, he had 7 touchdowns with us. Two extra touchdowns come in the playoffs. 88 receptions. I mean, you look at those numbers and you think compared to Calvin Johnson, Andre Johnson, it's like, oh, that's not that much. But when you talk about what Frank's saying in these kind of in the system,
You have to double them.
You have to double them.
Do you remember last year what teams were doing against us? Teams were actually playing safeties in the box because they were not only playing the run, which we like to do, 99.9% of the time.
pass.
But not even that they feared over the top. They were even playing the pass up in the box because they were playing the slants. If it was a passing play, all you got to do is drop back 5 or 6 steps, and you're already in the deepest part of the field for Sanchez and the offense. That's easy for a team, especially with small receivers like we have. I'm not saying these guys aren't talented. I think Curley's exceptional. I think Holmes is very good too. I think he's a great receiver. But you're talking about just a system that, as you were saying earlier, you're right. The system is control the clock, control the ball, short passes, complete a lot of passes, get the clock moving. Our defense will make big plays, and hopefully the running game goes and we'll win. Yeah, I don't like that system.
It's
I don't like it
watch.
at all.
I can
But
understand why
it
people
seems-
don't, but it's a formula that's won Super Bowls in the past. If you look at, maybe more towards the earlier 2000s,
Not
when you
the
look at the
immediate past,
Patriots in
but-
01.
The Pittsburgh one like that, Ben's
Pittsburgh,
first
you have
year.
The Ravens,
Or the
for a
Ravens.
few years, teams that make a run like that. And you look at it, the 3 main things that Rex Ryan has always said that he tries to win are rushing attempts, completions, and the turnover battle. And what they're doing right now is they're kind of putting up that red light that they gave to Mark Sanchez in 2009 when he was a rookie and said, hold it up there. We don't want you to lose this game for us. We don't want you to win it, but we don't want you to lose it for us either. We're going to hand the ball off 40 times, which you've seen in their 3 wins. All of their team rushing attempts have been up over 40 attempts. They're down on completions, but their completion percentage is higher. And they're winning the turnover battle in exchange of those 2 things.
Well, our offensive line has been awesome.
Unheralded. They got so much. They got a lot of
people
bad
killed them in
credit
the
early
beginning.
on.
Last year they were bad. I'll be the first
Yeah.
one to admit it. Wayne Hunter, was the story with him. Austin Howard has come in and played really well. Hasn't allowed a sack or a quarterback hit, I think, in 4 or 5 weeks.
Wow.
Right now, according to Pro Football Focus, they're ranked the 5th best offensive line in football. And
What did we
people are
say a
talking
couple
about-
weeks
yeah,
ago?
we've been saying this for the whole
mid-grade
year.
reporters had them at a D.
I said-
We're like,
yeah,
are you guys
no,
crazy?
I
A
agree with
D?
you on that.
Strength.
Yeah, you agree with us.
People
No,
were saying
absolutely, we
our
all
offensive
agree.
Line, our
It's
quarterback,
crazy.
and the run stop was our weakness. The offensive line has become a strength of this team right now.
Yep.
So this is what we're
Absolutely.
riding, and go figure we won 3 out of 4 games. Powell's running the ball well, even though he's a
Kid's
little banged
gotta
up
play.
now with the fractured toe, but he's practicing and he's going to play this week. And you have Sean Green, who's running the ball well too. Rex is kind of gone back, like Wes was saying, to what is won in 2009, 2010, and bringing in Braylon is kind of like the cherry on top. Like, okay, here we go. We have an outside shot to make the playoffs. Let's throw everything against the wall and see what sticks.
You know what they're finally getting back to also? And finally, one good thing we noticed with Sperano, as much as we've all killed him all year, he's finally getting back to getting to the running game and sticking with the running game.
Yes.
You can't get away from it in the first 5 minutes of the game when it's not working and start throwing the ball over the field like Brian used to. Yeah. I saw it last week. I mean, it wasn't opening up big holes in the first half of that game against Jacksonville, but all of a sudden, like they made an analogy during the game about chopping down a tree.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, in the third quarter, you had truck-sized holes.
Yeah, it's true.
You got to look at it. You make that reference, and you have the reference to boxing, whatever. You hit him with a right, you hit him right, jab, jab, jab. Then
Eventually, it breaks open.
The uppercut.
Like me in the Hard 90 video.
You were a real cutie in that video, you know?
So?
Yeah, you were a cutie.
Thanks, Frank. You always know how to make me smile.
If I can just like kind of play devil's advocate to that, let's say we're not playing Jacksonville, let's say we're not playing Arizona. I noticed in that game we're allowed to get the running game going because these other teams are playing they're failing to score points. Let's face it. You know, it comes back to the quarterback, and maybe adding a guy like Braylon Edwards maybe is going to help this move along a little bit. But we got to start scoring points. It has to start happening at some point. Yes, I believe in the running game. I believe in 40 carries. I believe in it. But sometimes you're just not in a position to do it. Yeah, sometimes when you're playing the New England Patriots and it's 14-3 at the beginning of the second quarter, you're just not in a position. That's the exception.
When you get behind that big, it's something else.
So you got to have. The game's about the quarterback.
Well, luckily,
the run game goes hand in hand with the defense. But I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Well, luckily, right now, like Bill was saying, we have some teams coming up that we've had a lot of success against. Rex Ryan, the next three teams that we play: Tennessee on Monday night, which we'll get into the breakdown and little graphic that we do now. San Diego Sunday, it's a 1:00 game now. They flexed it from prime time, and then Buffalo to end the season in Buffalo. Rex Ryan has a lot of success in the last 10 matchups with these three teams. Rex's Jets are 9-1. Wow. They've beaten Buffalo 6 times out of 7. The one loss was that overtime 5 interception game from Sanchez. Beaten San Diego twice, one in the playoffs and one last year in the regular season, and Tennessee in 2009. So these are some teams that Rex and the Jets can kind of put their foot down and impose their will on running the ball and playing defense. So that plays into the Jets' favor a little bit here. But they're gonna have to score to beat Tennessee and San Diego because they score points. They're not like Jacksonville and they're not like Arizona, who's going to trot out a quarterback who's actually worse than Sanchez. They're actually going to put guys out there who are going to beat Sanchez and be better quarterbacks than Sanchez and put up points. But we'll get into that matchup and we'll get into the game that's coming up because I think everybody can agree the main way to beat the Tennessee Titans on Monday night is to stop Chris Johnson. He's by far their best player on the team. Yeah, they have Kenny Britt and Kendall Wright and Nate Washington who all can make plays and beat you if you're not playing your best. But you stop the run and you force Locker out of the pocket, which he likes to do. He likes to run the ball. He's not your prototypical pocket passer.
Which kind of scares me a little bit. Because we have some slow outside linebackers.
That's what I was going to say about Chris Johnson. Not only is he the best player on their team, he's the type of back that gives us fits every time we face a back like this.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's throw up that graphic and kind of go over the position by position breakdown. As you can see, Braylon in his Santa Claus hat that Frank made. I love that picture. And there's Chris Johnson on the left. We went to quarterback and we had to give.
What if Braylon comes down as Santa Claus for you on
I give him a hug
on Christmas Eve night, 12 o'clock? Huh?
Yeah.
I had visions of Braylon Claus in my head before. Christmas music was playing.
Sugar Plum
Braylon's dancing around in my head when I saw the
you guys want to know something about Nick? He never left Santa Claus any cookies. I know that.
My mom would put them out at midnight, and I'd go down at like 12:05 and eat them. I wouldn't eat the carrots.
That's how I found out Santa wasn't real.
Wait, there's kids on the show.
Santa's real. Santa's real.
Yeah.
Real.
That's
all right, let's get into the position by position breakdown. We had to give the quarterback edge. Personally, I was against this. I actually wanted to go with Sanchez, but it was an override here.
And I didn't, believe it or not.
Yeah. Alan was the big Sanchez guy. I wanted to go with Locker here. So we did go with Locker.
Push.
Yeah,
I think I was a push when we talked about it. Actually,
yeah. But everybody else
Alan
went with
really
Locker.
Wanted Tebow. That's what he wanted, right?
Is that true?
You know that. Everybody watching knows that.
You know what? It's just another game. It reminds me of the Miami game. It's like whose quarterback's going to get hurt and then have the better guy come in. If Hasselbeck comes in this game, I mean, I'm scared.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true. I totally agree with that. I think if Hasselbeck plays, we lose.
Again, it's another game. game where the best quarterback just may be sitting on the bench.
It's true. And then we went running back.
For the
Chris
other team,
Johnson
not the
is, we did the vacuum thing again because that's what we say every week. In a vacuum, Chris Johnson is by far the best running back. But if you look at the tandem that we have, maybe the Jets get the edge, Powell and Green, but Chris Johnson is by far the best.
The Titans is
Locker.
Jake Locker. I mean, they don't really have a secondary running back. Which
Javon Ringer did get hurt.
Right, and it speaks to Johnson being one of those single back guys that we mentioned, like Frank Gore, Marshawn Lynch, Peterson.
Right.
But, yeah, absolutely. I think Chris Johnson, best running back out there.
He didn't practice yesterday, but he did practice today, and it was interesting. He talked to New York media.
Why didn't he practice? I don't think he felt like
His
it,
ankle?
right?
He probably just didn't feel like it. He was talking to the New York media, and they asked him, do you see yourself with the Titans in the future? He said, honestly, I don't know. So, I mean, it's something interesting to watch out for the Titans because he has soured a bit in Tennessee after getting the big contract, but he's such a good talent, such a good back that you can't just get rid of him just to get rid of him. But the receiver core, we went with Tennessee, as we mentioned before, Britt, Nate Washington, and Kendall Wright. Even though Braylon's back and we have Curley, Stephen Hill's not going to play. Marty Gilliard's back. That's Wes's boy. Had to give the edge there to the Titans. I don't know. Who wants to take the offensive line? Frank, you do it for the potties. For all the meatballs.
I am taking,
line.
of course, the New York Jets.
Yep.
That is the reason why we are still in the playoff hunt, is because of our offensive line, which has done a fabulous job. Just seriously, they've done a great job. Go on footballoutsiders.com and check out just offensive line play, where they rank in stuff percentage, where they rank in power percentage. They do a fabulous job. I really think they're the MVP of this team when it's all said and done. Absolutely. As our offensive line.
Yep.
Tight end, we're gonna push it. Jared Cook for Tennessee, who's a really underrated tight end. He's very fast. He's aggressive. He can make a lot of plays from anywhere on the field. Imagine Calvin Pace trying to chase him around. Just imagine that, right?
6'5",
No, thank you.
size
You don't
and
think he
speed.
could?
I don't think so. I don't know.
He's an SC Gamecock, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, Bill. Yeah, do it.
The Titans have a lot of injuries on their
Moving on
offensive
the
line.
D
too.
line,
Yeah,
moving on to D-line.
I think that goes in the Jets' corner. I mean, you look at the play of Muhammad Wilkerson, get him on the Pro Bowl. Definitely want to start voting NewYorkJets.com.
Beast Mo.
Yes.
So vote your New York Jets on there.
Mo
for Brinkenshaw,
Wilkerson
too.
is number one. I mean, he's got to be number one on there. You look at guys like Cromartie as well, but Quentin Coples has stepped up nicely. Mike DeVito has really proven to be one of the main veterans on this team, one of the real vocal leaders too. Recently, you see him kind of speaking out a lot more too, which is great to see. Love the guy from Maine, from Massachusetts as well. So
Kendrick Ellis is back, right?
Yeah, Kendrick Ellis.
I love Kendrick Ellis. Love me some Kendrick Ellis.
Yeah.
We're pushing the linebackers though, right? Because they got some good guys on there. They have Akeem Ayers. What's that guy? Zach
Brown, UNC, Coples teammate.
Yeah.
Jordan Babanonaga Hex.
Jordan
Ayers
Babanonaga.
was on the Jets' radar a couple of years back, if I'm not mistaken.
But
Yeah,
David Harris is
player.
having a great year. David Harris is over 100 tackles and 3 sacks. So
Not bad for the Forbes most overpaid player.
A lot of people,
that's right.
Harris did get off to a very slow start. I don't know if he was injured. I don't know if it's because Baua was out, and you kind of need that nose guard there to take on the double teams or free up those gaps for the inside linebacker like Harris. But he's played a lot better in the past 5 weeks. He's over 100 tackles again. I think an interception, 3 sacks. So he's playing like David Harris again. So that's been huge for our defense. But who had the D-backs?
D-backs, we had
no-brainer.
Yeah, we had the Jets.
Yeah.
No brainer. Tennessee is ranked bottom 5 in the league in pass defense. They just don't do a very good job against the pass. Our defense is top 5 against the pass, so we gave it to the D-backs. Punter kicker, we pushed it.
Baronis.
Yeah, Mr. Baronis, and we like Robert Malone. So we just pushed it because we like both those guys, and they're both on different teams for this game. So return, we gave it to the Jets. The Jets Tennessee actually gives up more return yards than they gain. We're the opposite, so I see McKnight having a big influence. Head coach, we gave it to the Jets. I don't even know who Tennessee's head coach is.
Mike Munchak.
Mike Munchak.
Mike Munchak, whatever his name is.
Mike Munchak.
Interesting note about Joe McKnight.
last
Kenny O days.
This shocks me. Joe McKnight this year, and this is on a completely different topic, but I just said Joe McKnight, so I have to say it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how many catches Joe McKnight has this year? The same amount. Oh, you want to guess?
1.
Yeah, 1. The same amount
That's
as
why
Nick
we bring
Ballore.
Allen on.
Right.
Brings the heat. Sorry,
Nick
Frank.
Ballore and Joe McKnight have the same amount of catches, and actually Ballore has more yards because he picked up more from Tebow. So how's that possible? How does Joe
You
McKnight
gotta
have one?
do it. The king of the checkdowns. If you're gonna pass anything, pass it to the running back like McKnight or
No,
But
McKnight can't play because he can't pass block. You don't put our biggest threat on offense out because he can't pass block.
I've almost
That's
forgot.
how it's supposed to happen.
That's a good point.
But no, that is a ridiculous stat. Nick Ballore, who was on the Pro Bowl ballot, by the way.
But I want to say thank you to Alan, by the way, for coming on because he did get me this.
Oh, what's
See,
that?
guys, it's unopened. I don't know. How did you not open this? I would open this the minute I got it.
I'm surprised he didn't throw it away.
Come
I
on.
thought about it.
Where's
Believe
the
me.
autograph? He should have faked an autograph on there real quick for him. He would have lost his mind.
Let's get a
do you not
prediction around the
open
room.
this?
Who's gonna win? What's the score? Alan, you're on the spot right here. What's
First
going
guy
on?
up.
All right, I'm going to take the Jets 20-14.
Oh my
Bill?
God! You know, I was gonna say 22. So I'll
22
say
or-
22. 22 to 10 Jets.
Frank?
I'm going to go Jets 17-13. Jets.
Yeah.
Wesley Sykes.
I'm taking the Jets as well. I got it 24-10. The defense is still rolling. Monday Night Football.
Oh, did you guys do this on purpose? It's because I told you I think the Titans are going to win.
Oh, Nick.
This game
Brady's
scares me.
return?
If we beat the Titans on Monday night, I think we're going to win out.
As long as
But
we
I
know-
don't see it.
As long as we know it's not all sunshine and rainbows now around here.
Look, I think
did
Braylon
struggle.
comes back. I think he has 4 catches, 57 yards, and a touchdown because Rex is going to make it his point to get him in the end zone because he wanted him back, and Tannenbaum and Woody didn't. Yeah, that's a shot right there. But I think the Jets are going to fall a little short because they're not going to be able to score enough. But I'm going to take the Titans, and I'm going to take them close, like 19-16 in a weird scoring game. But I'm not, I'm not trying
real quick,
to
if I could add something
dampen
in
the
there.
mood. Yes.
An ironic twist for the game. The Jets acquired Edwards in Week 5 in 2009. The team wasn't sure then how much he'd contribute on a Monday night game against Miami, which they ended up losing. He ended up playing most of the game, had 5 catches, 64 yards, a touchdown, while setting up another 2 scores. So if they get
Of course
that
he did,
from
because
him-
he's the man.
Nick, what does our boy?
Man.
What does our boy at Louder Fam say?
Braylon Edwards is the man. He's going to score. Just saying. And also, remember when he had the DUI and he wasn't expected to play and they benched him for the first half, came against Miami again on Sunday night and had a huge game.
Absolutely.
Braylon is the boss. He is. If we had a better quarterback, Braylon would be in the Pro Bowl ballot too. But we'll be back. Hopefully next week is Friday, the 21st. We don't know. I know Frank and the Mayans aren't on the best of terms, so we'll see.
If not,
But
it's been nice knowing you.
Yes, if we
been
are
great
here,
working with you
it will
guys.
be our Christmas show. It will be our end of the year or end of the world show.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just kidding. I shouldn't joke about that. But anyway, thank you again to
That's my
Santonio.
favorite
Thank you for Alan from the Jet Press and everybody out there.
JetPress.com.
Everything.
Shout
Yes,
out.
to JetPress.com.
Right.
Definitely check them out.
You
And
know,
on
I like
Twitter.
Alan. Last thing, I love Alan because, regardless of his love for Mark Sanchez and my love for Timothy Tebow
Love
as a
Mark.
quarterback, he hosted one of my articles for Tebow, and I really appreciate that because he doesn't like Tebow, but he allowed me
Stand-up guy.
to give my opinion to all of his followers, which is an admirable thing to do.
And you guys may
because
not
that's what
believe
it's
it,
about.
they
It's not
hugged
about
off
whose
stage.
opinion's right. It's about does your opinion make sense.
Does
Most
yours?
of the time it does. Right?
Asking?
All right, we'll be we'll
was
be
my
back
pleasure.
next week. Same time, same place. Flight5live.com, ZenLive.tv, Wes's Paper Flip. Bill,
Flight Boys,
I don't know what you're
Flight
doing.
Boys,
Flight
let's go.
Boys is
Flight
kind of
Boys
back.
in the
Jordan White
building
rocking the
tonight.
8-9-2. Let's see if he gets a rep this week. We'll be back next week.
Mixed martial arts